More Gospel, chapter 15. Do whatever he tells you. On the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." "Woman, why do you involve me?" Jesus replied. "My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." They did so, and the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had much to drink. But you have saved the best till now." What Jesus did here in Cana of Galilee was the first of the signs through which he revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. John chapter 2, verses 1 through 11. The last words of the Virgin Mary in the Bible are, "Do whatever he tells you." She said this to the servants at the wedding, but it is good advice for everyone. Obeying God's word was how she became the mother of Jesus. When she answered Gabriel with, "Let it be done to me according to your word," she conceived Jesus in her womb. She is the best example of a Christian because she always did the will of God. Jesus told the servants at the wedding to fill up the stone jars with water. To draw 150 gallons of water from a well is considerable work and would have taken some time. I wonder what those servants were thinking as they worked. The wedding needed wine, not water. So why are we filling up all these water jars? They must have been very perplexed, and yet they did what they were told to do. Only later, after Jesus had done the miracle, did they realize the reason for their work. It is the same with us. Most of the time, we go about doing our daily duties, not knowing how God will use our work for his glory. We live our lives according to our vocations in a way that is pleasing to God. Just how God will make use of us each day remains mostly unknown to us. We obey God's word simply because it is the right thing to do and because God commands it. I picked up a hitchhiker on Interstate 75 in Dayton, Ohio, and I dropped him off 20 miles later in Troy, Ohio. He told me that he started in Miami, Florida, and got a ride to Atlanta. The second ride had brought him to Dayton, and I was the third person to pick him up. I asked him if he loved Jesus. He began to cry. He told me that the first man who picked him up had asked the same question, and so had the second driver. Now I had asked him the same question the third time, and it was more than he could take. He told me that he felt that God was trying to reach him and that he was ready to respond. His grandmother in Detroit had talked to him on the phone the day before he left Miami. She told him that she would be praying for him during his trip. Now he was seeing the results of her prayers in the 3 drivers who had all shared the faith with him. His heart had been softened, and I was able to lead him closer to Christ. In God's plan, each person plays a part. One plants, another waters, and another harvests. Most of the time, we are unaware of the other workers as we fulfill our own part of God's plan. The first 2 drivers will never know in this life what happened when the 3rd driver asked the same question. Only in eternity will they see the fruit of their obedience to God's word. You never know where you are in the great scheme of things and how important the lowly, mundane task you're doing is going to be. It is so important that each person do his part so that God can work the miracles that he wants to perform with our lives. He'll make the wine if we just give him the water of our obedience.